Hello everyone. So this is GS Mains Paper 3, November 2017, Part 1, right? So let's start. Okay. So the first topic is recapitalization, a mere bailout of PSBs or not, right? That is, PSB means public sector banks. And this can be kept under topic 1, Indian economy, and topic 8, liberalization also. Why liberalization? Because we'll try to compare private banks vis-a-vis PSBs, right? We'll try to compare it. And private banks are operating in India because of the liberalization which happened, right? So, and more number of private banks. Private banks were earlier also, right? But more number of private banks are there because of the liberalization. So this particular part will be under liberalization as well. So let's talk about it. This particular issue. See, the thing is, recapitalization is just a euphemism to describe what is essentially a bailout of banks using taxpayer money, right? So the thing is, people are talking about, yeah, this is a very good thing, this will boost private investment, etc., etc. But what author of this particular article, who has written this particular article in Hindu, he is saying that this is just jibber jabber and this is nothing but a bailout of banks using taxpayer money. And what they are saying, and what they are more saying, like they are saying that banks in current mess mainly because of their mismanagement for political reasons. So they are saying that banks are facing what they are facing because of the mismanagement for political reasons. What does they mean by political reasons? So sometimes what happens in the earlier past, politicians used to pressurize banks to lend money, right, to certain industries, right? Why? Because again, this is a vicious cycle. Remember, political funding is given by different companies to political parties. We don't know whom, right? So that's why whoever is giving funding to these political parties also have to do something for them. So these kind of lending, political parties return their favor. So this is all a vicious cycle. So I hope you are understanding this whole funda, right? So that is what the article is saying, that banks are in current mess mainly because of the mismanagement for political reasons. Now let's try to understand or compare private banks vis-a-vis PSBs, right? PSB stands for public sector banks. Now the thing is, in private banks, owners who have invested their own money and stand to lose it all in case of mismanagement have a strong economic incentive to keep a tab on managers who run their business, right? Because in private banks, owners have invested their own money, so they have more incentive, right? But what happens in the case of PSBs? The implicit guarantee of their books by the government only worsens the cyclical problem by adding it to the risk of moral hazard. And then what happens? Then government invest exchequers money, right? Which is nothing but our money, right? The money which we pay in tax. So what is the way? What is the way forward? What is the way out? The only way to build a healthy and competitive banking system is to reform bank ownership and force banks to take responsibility for their action. This repeated bailouts will not work, right? So something has to be done. Even IMF has also suggested that government reduce its equity in public sector banks, right? Because if equity is reduced, then decision-making capability will also be reduced to a certain extent. So again, everything will take care of itself. Privatization is needed of PSB to a certain extent. Okay. Now let's talk about the second topics. What are the silver linings for India in ease of doing business? We all know that India has got 100 ranked in World Bank ease of doing business. Remember, from prelims perspective, is it important to remember who published ease of doing business? World Bank. Remember, there is another institution which is called WEF, World Economic Forum. They also publishes a lot of reports. So do go through those reports. And there's one trick which people used to say. I don't know whether it will work or not. I'm just giving you a trick. There are lots and lots of reports which are published by World Economic Forum more than other institutions. So if in exam some report come and if you are not able to understand or remember any organization, you can go for WEF. Probability is high. Again, probability is high. I'm not saying it will be 100%. Probability is high. You can check out the reports. WEF has higher proportion of reports. But this ease of doing business, that is published by World Bank. And how to remember these reports? Just read World Bank. Whenever you're reading a report, ease of doing business, World Bank, ease of doing business, World Bank, try to say it 2-3 times or 3-4 times. It will get etched in your memory. And then when you will see that particular report, you will immediately go to that particular option which you have reiterated 2 or 3 times in your mind. Fine. So what is the silver lining? The silver lining is India is 4th best placed in the world for minority investors. What are minority investors? So it's not like minority investor means investors who are belonging from minority religion. No, minority investor means investors who have less than 50% ownership of company's equity or who have less than 50% vote share. So that is minority investor, right? Don't get confused. So that is the silver lining. India is fourth best placed in the world for minority investors, well ahead of several developed nations. Now, but the thing is, this is the silver lining. What are the major hurdles? there are two major hurdles still for India. If it wants to improve its rank, it has to remove these hurdles. What are those hurdles? First is enforcement of contract now takes longer than it did 15 years ago. So that is a major issue. What is the second hurdle? Procedures to start a business or secure a construction permit remains cumbersome. So these are the two issues. Contract issue, enforcement of contract issue, and second is starting a business or securing a construction permit. So these two are major hurdles still according to World Bank Ease of Doing Business report. Fine. Okay, now let's talk about GI tax. So again, I think this particular November month is a month of GI tax because you will see lots and lots of things are getting GI tax in this particular month. So this is again under topic 11, intellectual property rights. Now again, Andhra Pradesh. There is a toy from Andhra Pradesh which has got GI tag recently. That is called Itiko Papakka toys. Hope I am pronouncing it correctly. Itiko Papakka toys. If you want to remember all the GI tags, do say it do say it loud 10 to 20 times and go in front of a mirror and then say loud around, even if not 10-20 times, 4 to 5 times minimum. You will remember it. Don't worry about it. It's not like a rocket science. So again, latest ones are important, and all these GI tags which I have written now, they are all from Andhra Pradesh. So that way now, even if you're remembering it state wise, that will be easy for you to remember. So Itiko Papakka toy is the latest one, so remember it properly. Itiko Papakka toys from Andhra Pradesh. All these are from Andhra Pradesh. Kondapalli toys, they have also got GI tags. Bobili Veena. Bobili is a place in Andhra Pradesh from where they have, from where this Veena is produced or procured. So again, that has also got GI tag in the past. Tirupati Laddu, that has also got GI tag. Sri Kalahasti Kalamkari, Uppada Jamdani Shadi, and Shadow Puppets. Shadow Puppets are from different regions. Shadow Puppet of Andhra Pradesh has got GI tags. So all these GI tags are from Andhra Pradesh. We'll talk about more GI tags in this particular November edition only, right? So right now just remember these GI tags. Again, try to say it 2-3 times, you will remember it. Fine. Okay, now let's talk about Blackbucks and Meja Forest Division. Remember, whenever such kind of animals you hear now, try to just go to IUCN list and see their status. That is important from prelims point of view. So Blackbuck is least concern in IUCN. Now we all know about tiger, right? Tiger and all those things. But do you know what is the IUCN status of tiger? Most of the people won't be knowing it because we don't want to see it, because it is very common, right? We generally see the names of or see the IUCN status of those animals which are very rare. So the IUCN status of tiger is endangered. Now I will tell you one very quick fact and very quick joke. Hope you like it. See, the thing is, when you will Google tiger when you will Google tiger, so instead of getting tiger, you will get the box office report of Tiger Zinda Hai. So what does it show? Google is nothing. It just shows what Indians are showing or what Indians are getting interested in. So that shows that instead of getting interested in tiger, we are more interested in the box office report of Tiger Zinda Hai. But again, remember, enough of the cheap jokes. Just remember, tiger has endangered status in IUCN, right? Fine. That is of our concern. Okay, so what about Blackbucks? So Blackbucks is least concern, right? Now where are they found in India? They are found in two major sanctuaries. First is Velavadar Wildlife Sanctuary, which is in Gujarat, and second is Rani Bennur Blackbuck Sanctuary, which is in Karnataka. So what is the news? The news is there is a Blackbuck Conservation Reserve which is to become which will what they're planning to come up in, Uttar Pradesh, right? So there is a Blackbuck Conservation Reserve to come up in Uttar Pradesh, and a herd of around 350 Blackbucks is estimated to be inhabiting the Meja Forest Division, which is near Allahabad. So just remember, Blackbuck was in news, so you have to understand, or you have to remember its IUCN status. And apart from these two sanctuaries in Gujarat and Karnataka, we will be having one more conservation reserve in UP for Blackbuck. Fine, okay. Now there were certain one-liners, so let's talk about them. So, 3-layered coastal security in India. Topic 13, that is means what is here? Security, external, internal security. So 3-layered coastal security in India. What are those 3 layers? First layer is Navy, second layer is Coast Guard, and third layer is Coastal Police. Now what government was thinking of creating one more layer that was called new Central Marine Police Force, CMPF. But the thing is, we have 3 layers. What is the need of adding one more layer if these 3 layers are not working properly? So there is a need to strengthen Indian Coast Guard, ICG, rather than creating new Central Marine Police Force. Just by adding one more layer to the security will not do anything. 3-pronged security approach is fine, and we just need to strengthen this 3-pronged network, and especially we need to strengthen the Indian Coast Guard, right? ICG. And what are these coastal police? If you go to the coastal states, now there are coastal police stations, right? So they are also part of the coastal security. So we have ample security apparatus. We just need to strengthen it instead of creating one new police force, which is Central Marine Police Force, right? Now again, 8 core sectors were in use. Very important from prelims. point of view, because in the last 3-4 years only they have asked 2 questions from 8 core sectors, right? So first of all, you have to understand what are the things which are there in 8 core sectors, and second, what is the weightage in IIP, that is Index of Industrial Production, right? Now 8 core sectors are coal, crude oil, right? Natural gas, refinery products. Sorry, refining product is one thing. Coal, 1, 2 is crude oil, 3rd is natural gas, 4th is refinery products, 5th is fertilizer, 6th is steel, 7th is cement, and 8th is electricity. Which has the highest weightage in IIP? Electricity, followed by steel, right? It has been asked, so it's not like I'm claiming it. This question has been asked in 2015 prelims, highest weightage, and in I think 2013, 2012 they have asked which of them are among the core sectors, right? So remember these 8 core sectors, right? 3 are starting from C, coal, crude oil, and cement, right? Again, and 1 is starting from E, that is electricity, right? You can also remember it in like alphabetical order, right? So 3 starting from C, 1 starting from E, 1 starting from F, that is fertilizer. So 5 are done. After that, it is in a haphazard order. So after that you have natural gas, after that we have refinery products, and then you have steel. So that is the whole thing. So try to remember it, whatever floats your boat, just read it 2-3 times, you will remember it. Okay, so this was all about the first part. Again, we have lots and lots of news to cover. We'll cover it, and do revise all these videos again and again. It will help you a lot. Thanks.